Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's video we are discussing Liverpool becoming the Premier League champions in 2025 after beating Spurs 5-1 at Anfield, and what an incredible first year it's been for Arne. Honestly, this guy, what an absolute Liverpool legend. He's right up there with Jurgen Klopp. Honestly, some might say, can he go on to beat Jurgen Klopp's record? Potentially, we might have to discuss that in a future video, but as always, like, comment, subscribe, it is very much appreciated and it goes a long way to helping my channel massively grow for the future. And just want to say a quick thank you for all the support on social media as well, because it doesn't go unnoticed. I feel like I've said this a few times in the previous episodes, but I feel like I've got to say it each time because the level of support on social media is unbelievable at the moment. So I do really appreciate that, and thank you for the support on the last episode. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Liverpool beating Spurs at 5-1 at Anfield for them to lift up the Premier League trophy with 4 games left to spare. What an absolutely incredible achievement for this team. Honestly, when it didn't get off to the best of starts because they did go 1-0 down. Spurs scored, Solanke scored a header. So from that point of view, it was looking a little bit unfortunate for them, a little bit disappointing. But 4 minutes after, the star player Luis Diaz sort of scored the equaliser. And don't get me wrong, it was an okay goal. I think Mohamed Salah sort of crossed it into the box, and then what was it called? Luis Diaz sort of just tapped it in 5 yards out. So it reminded me a bit of like a sweaty goal off FIFA. If any of you guys remember that, that might be a little bit too harsh. I don't know, but it was very similar. And then the second goal happened in pretty much literally 10 minutes after. Right, Alexis McAllister, the Argentine midfielder, scored a second goal to make Liverpool 2-1 up. And you know what? That was one of the best goals I've seen in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Okay, let me just set the scene for you, okay? The Argentine midfielder, he got the ball from outside the box and he just smashed it right into the top corners. Honestly, the goalkeeper couldn't do anything about it. I felt sorry for the Tottenham goalkeeper. He didn't have any chance of saving that. And for me, when you talk about the Argentine midfielder, I feel like he's very underrated in this Liverpool side, because when you speak about Liverpool, you speak about the big 3 players, wouldn't you? You'd speak about Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I feel like even in the 3-man midfield for Liverpool, I feel like this season he's sort of been overlooked a little bit. And I really do think when you talk about some of his stats, obviously he's played 66 times for Liverpool now over the 2 seasons, and he's got 5 goals and 4 assists this season as well. So I do really think next season is going to be his year where he's going to kick on and make it like starting position his sort of name. Even though he's a starting midfielder for Liverpool already, I feel like he's going to be like the main midfielder for Liverpool next season. Anyways, that was 2-1, but 3-1 pretty much happened straight after that, literally 10 minutes after that, with Cody Gakpo scoring from a corner. And what can we even mention about Cody Gakpo? Because when he first joined the league, joining from PSV in the Eredivisie, I was a bit sceptical about the transfer. I didn't know if it would work out, coming from the Eredivisie. I didn't know if that was a top 5 league. Anyways, I couldn't have been more wrong, because he's shown over the last year or 2 that he's a top-notch player. And out of the front 3 for Liverpool, I would probably say that Luis Diaz is probably the one I would replace, the most upgradable in that position, where you could go out and get a 20+ goal season striker, someone like a Alexander Isak or a Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt, someone like that. But yeah, it was 3-1 at this point, and it was pretty much game over for Spurs. They couldn't really get back into the game. They couldn't really get a foothold to sort of, create enough chances and whatnot. And then, it was 3-1 at half time. Going into the second half, Mohamed Salah scored in the 63rd minute. And again, what an incredible goal, because you've got to think to yourself, right, he cuts inside from the right-hand side and he shoots just outside the box, goes past 2 or 3 defenders, goes past the keeper as well. And it's so easy. That is a signature goal from Mohamed Salah. You've seen it time in, time out from him. And what I loved about that goal was the celebration, because he took a phone from one of the fans and he took a selfie with all the fans, and I just thought it was a really wholesome moment, a nice moment for Mohamed Salah, obviously just signing that new 2-year deal as well. But we'll get back into that later on in the video. It's 4-1 at this point, and then Tottenham's left back, Adogo, scored an own goal. So, you know, a little bit unfortunate. He tried his best to sort of stop it, but I feel like the ball just rolled into the back of the net and the goalkeeper didn't have enough time to react and get the ball back out of the net. So, a little bit unfortunate from that standpoint, but you know, 4-1, 5-1, it doesn't matter. It's basically game over at this point, isn't it? And Liverpool, what can I say? You know what? Winning the league in Arne Slot's first season, where there was huge question marks around him, replacing Jurgen Klopp, you know, it is just incredible to witness, honestly. Now, you know, some people are saying that, is it a weak league? I feel like it's mostly big six clubs that are saying that, because when you look at the league positions of some of the teams in the top four, you've got to say to yourself, there are 3 big six teams that aren't in it at all. The likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, and Tottenham. And I feel like that's where the sort of conversation has started, because they're doing so bad. I feel like they're sort of trying to take away from Liverpool's achievements when they shouldn't really be doing that. Because if you look at the league table, you've got the likes of Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Aston Villa, all challenging for the you know, top 6 positions. And I really feel like those 3 teams can overtake those 3 big 6 teams that I mentioned previously. Liverpool winning it with 4 games to spare is a good thing and a bad thing for it's a good thing for them, obviously, but it's a bad thing for everybody else, because Liverpool have won with 15 points off Arsenal. Arsenal are 15 points away from first position, and you've got to look at the rest of the league. Okay, Liverpool basically won the league with 10 games to spare, pretty much. We pretty much knew Liverpool were going to basically guarantee to win the league. And then the relegation was set as well. The 3 teams going down were always looking like the 3 teams that were going to go back to the Championship, in the likes of Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton. It was pretty much set that they were going to, there was no way back for them. And then it was, you know, with the rest of the remainder of the season, it was pretty much who's going to challenge for those, you know, top 5 Champions League positions. That's been the main storyline for about, I don't want to say 10 games, but I feel like it has been about a good 6 to 10 games, roughly, anyways. But either way, I don't think it's a bad league. I feel like it's just those top 6 teams that's trying to make fun of Liverpool's achievements. I wouldn't rank these as highly as, you know, the last Premier League title they won under Jurgen Klopp, obviously. They won it at Anfield, so they can celebrate with their fans, and what an incredible moment for their fans. What a fantastic time they can have to celebrate now. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. When you think about Liverpool's recruitment for next summer, they need 2 new full-backs, a centre-back, a centre-mid and a striker. Those have all been rumoured for them to sort of buy those players in those positions. And for me, you know, at left-back, for example, you've got the player from Bournemouth, Kirkes. He's very highly rated, have done incredibly well this season. At right-back, obviously, they need to potentially you know, recruit somebody there to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold, and there's been a lot of chatter around the likes of Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen. But for me, if you're buying Kirkes, I wouldn't buy another highly attacking right back, because the balance of the squad would just be off. For me, I wouldn't go in for Frimpong. I would go in for somebody a little bit more defensive minded. And so when Kirkes drives forward with the ball, you've got like a 3rd right back who can sort of tuck in a little bit further. And then for the centre mid positions, I'm not really too sure who you'd buy there. Probably like another CDM, like maybe like a Boubacar Kamara at Aston Villa, because he's very good at the moment. He's probably, you know, one of the most important players in that Aston Villa midfield. And you know, you can sort of see when he's sort of missing or got an injury from that in that Aston Villa team, you can sort of see massively that Aston Villa do need him, and they do miss him very hugely. In the striker position, for me, you'd have to go all out for a 20+ goal season striker and get someone like Alexander Isak. Now you're probably spending upwards of 100 to 150 million. Well, that's the rumoured price at least. So I don't know if Liverpool, with their sort of transfer strategy, are going to do that. So for me, if you'd go out there and buy a cheaper alternative, it would be someone like Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. And, you know, he's got some similar comparisons to the likes of Roberto Firmino, who, you know, under Jurgen Klopp obviously played really well, had a good front 3 there. I don't know if Arne Slot will sort of, you know, keep those sort of tactics. I don't think he has this season. It's very much more of a controlled sort of build from the back and, you know, move forward very slowly rather than everything action-packed in your face like heavy metal football like Jurgen Klopp used to play. So for me, I feel like those are the 4 to 5 positions that Liverpool do need to bolster in the summer, and if they do get those players, you can best believe like Liverpool will be challenging for the Premier League title again next season, and it is going to be extremely harder for those teams in and around them, the likes of Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, all these teams, Chelsea, to challenge and compete with them. But I reckon if those teams can sort of get their recruitment right as well, we could be in for a good season next year. But anyways, they also, I didn't even mention, right, let me just tell you this as well, that they won the Premier League when they went through a season of having 3 players' contracts being running down to the last year of their contract. Obviously 3 of their best players as well, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now this was a massive conversation throughout the whole season, and, you know, a lot of the fans are quite worried because there were times where there's probably thinking to themselves, all 3 of them might leave at one stage. But obviously with the recent news that rumoured news, that Trent Alexander-Arnold is leaving to go to Real Madrid, you know, that is very exciting for him and his personal achievements. I don't know if Liverpool fans would class Trent Alexander-Arnold as a Liverpool legend just because of the way he left, but, you know, leaving on a free where he could have signed last year and then Liverpool could have made money out of him, which I sort of understand it from that perspective, but at the same time, I don't know if he would have joined Real Madrid because they like to do a thing where they buy loads of free players. It's part of their transfer policy. So I don't know if Trent Alexander-Arnold would have left if they would have if he signed a new contract. And then you had the likes of you know, Virgil van Dijk, one of the best centre backs in the whole Premier League for the last 5 to 10 years maybe. And then there was sort of negotiations there. We didn't know whether he was going to be rumoured to leave to PSG or go somewhere else, somewhere like that. And then obviously the world-class player Mohamed Salah, you know, scoring 27 goals, getting 18 assists this season. You know, their star player, their main man. If they lost Mohamed Salah, they would be way off it, and probably wouldn't be anywhere near winning the league next season at least anyways. But he's signed a new contract, he's there for 2 more years, and at the age of what, 33, 34, you've still got to expect him to still do it for a good year or 2 at least anyways. But I think Liverpool are going to be absolutely fine for the next 2 to 3 years, and I feel like they're going to be challenging once again next year. So I feel like it's time where the other teams below them need to step it up and, you know, get their recruitment right for next season so they can go again and compete with Liverpool, who look like the best team in England so far. And, you know, just well done for the whole team. Well done to Arne coming in straight away and taking over and winning it straight away, because we've seen the likes of, you know, David Moyes sort of coming in at Manchester United and not really doing so well. Congratulations to Liverpool, because whatever they're doing, it has worked this season, and Arne Slot will go down as a Liverpool legend for what he's done so far in his Liverpool career. You know, let me end it off with some questions. Where do you rank Liverpool winning the Premier League? How good is Arne Slot? Do you think they're going to win it next season? Do you think Arsenal can maybe compete for them next season? Will Man City be back? Will Chelsea be up there? Do you think it's been a weak league this year? And yeah, those are all my questions. Obviously, as always, like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And I'll see you again in the next video.